Hi, in this video I'm going to let you know about calendar change. The purpose of this video is to get you to begin to inquire around how we look at time. So in order to understand natural time, it's important to look at how we have been taught to look at time. So let's start this inquiry into looking at space. So what measures space? What measures the third dimension? We have a ruler. So if we have a ruler where every inch is a different measure, 1 inch is this long, 1 inch is this long, and 1 inch is this long, how easy would it be to make things? Not very, right? Would be very difficult. So a ruler is measuring the physical dimension, what we can see and what we can touch. So when we look at time, can we see time? Can we touch time? Probably not. Okay, so when we look at the time that we're following and we look at the calendar that we're following, which is measuring the time that it takes a physical dimension, a physical object, the Earth, to move through space around a physical object, the Sun, 365 days. When we look at that calendar, we can see that each unit in that calendar has a different measure. So we have 30 days, 31, 28, 29, and it's all, all over the place. So we would never do that when we're measuring space because we can see and touch it, and perhaps we've been programmed to think that that's all that's real. Perhaps there's more to it than that. Time, we cannot see it or touch it. So when we're programming, time is of the mind. So when the mind's primary job is to look for pattern, to understand the patterns of the universe so that we can understand our place within the patterns of the universe and what we're doing here. So the mind will naturally look for pattern. And as we look for pattern, as we program our mind into a harmonic pattern that makes sense, that has order, then we find our place within the order. When we're following a time, a measurement of time, that has unequal units of measure, then we're programming a mind into something that is not quite ordered, that does not have, that is disordered, is disharmonic. And so I remember when I was a child at school and they said 31 days have September and everything, I remember going, that doesn't seem to make sense. Oh, well, they must know. So that was the beginning of me giving away my internal intelligence to an external authority. And so in that, because nobody was speaking about how it didn't quite make sense, I then internalized that and thought about, wow, I don't quite fit and I'm not quite right. And when we're honest with ourselves and we look at that thought form, we may find that we each are very familiar with that thought form. And that's okay in the greater scheme of things. But when you multiply that thought form by 6 billion or 7 billion people on the planet, you have a grand error in time that is saying that things don't quite fit and they're not quite right, and is always looking for the problems in things, rather than if we're following a calendar where each unit is a harmonic measure, the same measure, like most indigenous cultures did that had a solar calendar. You can divide that 365 days by 13 months of 28 days. 28 days is 4 perfect weeks, 13 times 28 is 364 days, and you have what the Celts called a year and a day, making the 364 days to the 365 and a spiral of evolution. So just to give you a map of what I'm talking about, so here we have the Gregorian calendar, called as such by Pope John Gregory the 13th, and having 31 days because Julius Caesar wanted to have 31 days in his month. So wherever we're bowing down to the need to be important. And here we have the 13 moon calendar, where you can see the difference between disharmonic time and harmonic time. So when we have a 13 moon calendar and each month has exactly 28 days, so it's a Monday on the first day of the first month, it's a Monday on the first day of every other month, and every other week. So 13 times 28, 364 days, plus one little day out of time, what we call a day out of time, which among the people, the increasing number of people that are understanding the need for calendar change on the planet, there is a celebration every July 25th for the day out of time. So via the people that are working on the planet with the 13 moon calendar, the first day of the first moon is July 26th. And the reason it's July 26th is because on that day is the heliacal, Helios being sun, heliacal rising of Sirius with the sun. And there's a sun pyramid built for that acknowledgement of that moment in Teotihuacan, just outside of Mexico City. So the 13 moon calendar, I work with the Mayan calendar, and in particular the Mayan dream spell calendar that comes out of Palenque in Mexico, and I've been following that daily for 22 years now. And I find in that it reflects the harmonic order of time, not time so much measuring physical objects, the earth around the sun, which is important for us to measure in our day-to-day lives. But that is the compression of time, which is of the fourth dimension, into the third dimension to measure physical objects moving around physical objects. So it's important to get that right so that we can go on from measuring physical objects moving around physical objects into true fourth dimensional time, which has a whole other order, which is very simple because it's very natural time. It's very ordered. It works with 13 and 20. It's called the Zol-Kin. The Zol-Kin, Zol is to count, and Kin is light, so it's the count of light. It works with two numbers, 13 and 20, and here you have 13 days that just repeats itself. Each one of those boxes is a day. It just repeats itself 20 times. So it's a 13-20 harmonic matrix that is not measuring physical objects moving around physical objects, but measuring pulses of light that emit from a center of light radially, infinitely in all directions, just as the sun, the pulse of light, the sun. So it's measuring light, it's measuring forth. Pure time is measuring light. It's not so much measuring physical objects, although you can compress it into the third dimensional physical reality. But if you want to go forward and explore further pure time, natural time, pure time, then watch out for the next video. So this was just a video to educate, to stimulate us to question, request Ion to question the reality that we've been programmed into, and to start to reclaim our time and reclaim our mind. So, and watch out for July 25th, day out of time. All over the planet there will be communities that are celebrating the day out of time. So, yeah. So blessed be, and thank you for watching, and I hope I've stimulated you to question the times we're in. I feel like it's important to do so that we can reclaim natural time. And one of the outcomes of following unnatural time or disharmonic time or a disharmonic matrix is that it separates us from the natural order, and it allows us to do things to the earth, our home, our mother, that is not beneficial for us or for our children coming on. So yeah, natural time, it's definitely the time to look at time. So blessed be. Thank you for listening.